Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. A lot has happened in the past couple weeks, and I will kind of briefly share what is kind of transpired. I'll give you a quick summary, and hopefully, maybe you can learn from this. Hopefully, maybe I can learn from this when I look back on it, and it'll just be interesting to see what my last couple weeks have been like. So, let's talk about the big news, shall we? The whole month of August, man, was a big one. I went on about, 3 or 4 dates with 2 different women. And I kind of want to briefly talk about how that unfolded and maybe what I can learn from this experience. So, the first girl that I went on a date with, I'm not going to mention her name, but I met her twice. Once at an Olive Garden, we had a really good conversation, but I didn't get the chance to ask for a number because she was busy at work. The second time that I met this girl was at work, but at a different place. She works at Olive Garden and Spirit Halloween. And the second time, I was like, okay, I have to ask her again, right? You know, the stars kind of aligned, and it was perfect. So I asked for a phone number, and I think that week or the following, we met up for my very first date since high school, since sophomore year of high school. And it went really, really well. I was really pleasantly surprised of how well we connected and how well we could just bounce off each other. And to put this in perspective, we met up around 4:30 in the afternoon, and we didn't leave until 11:45 at night. And here's the big lesson for me. This was my very first mistake. So before we left, she said to me, we lock eyes, right? And she said to me, hey, I'm going to close my eyes and you can do anything to me and I won't say a single thing. And to me, that was like, okay, she's looking for something. She's looking for a kiss. She's looking to have me make that first move. And I froze up. I didn't really know what to do. On the first day, I kind of expected maybe like to hold hands at most, but kissing is like, I've never kissed a girl before, so this was something completely new, and I just kind of gave her a little hug and wished her good night and whatnot. And yeah, that was my very first mistake. I really dropped the ball on that one. But our second date kind of, I wish I could say that it was as good, if not better than the second, but that's just simply not the case. We went down to an arcade, actually. Played some games, really fun, had some food, it was nice, walked around for a bit, and then once again there was another opportunity to kiss her, but this time it wasn't so obvious. So this time I asked for her permission, pretty much. I asked like, hey, can I kiss you? And there was a really long pause. And from right then and there, I was like, this is over. This date's over. We're not going to see each other again, blah, blah, blah. So we drive home, and that's when she starts opening up about her past and how that she just got out of a 3-month relationship with a guy. And it's been about, I think she said about a month or so, maybe longer. But she really wants to take her time. And the next guy that she meets, she really wants to make sure that that guy is the right guy for her, because the guy that she previously dated really messed her up, man. And he just played games with her and didn't give her any attention, and it was this whole entire back and forth. So she really wants the next guy to be a natural progression and just like there, if you know, you know. And she suggested to me, which, by the way, this is my first red flag of this whole entire situationship. She said, I want you to see other people. And when I first heard that, I was thinking, okay, that's fine. That makes sense because she's healing from the past relationship, right? But the more that I think about it, the more that I realize, if she really likes me, why would she say a thing like that? That didn't, when I look back on it, that's that's the time where I should have been like, okay, this isn't gonna work out, right? But in the moment, I said, hey, do you want to extend the date? I thought she was gonna say no, but surprisingly, she said yes. So we went out to a park. We laid out on a field on a picnic blanket, and we kind of looked out at the stars, and there was like a thunderstorm going on at the time, so it was kind of like lightly drizzling, and we were looking at the city lights and everything. It was really romantic. It was really nice, and we just kind of we just chatted for another couple hours. We got kicked out by security because the park closed. Drove her to her house. I stopped, parked the car, and I was expecting her to get out and just kind of like call the date off because she had work the next day, and she expressed that she had to work at morning shift and all this other stuff. But surprisingly, she was stalling, and it was really obvious that she was stalling. And to me, I'm like, is she looking for another opportunity for me to make the first move? But that was, I'm like, I'm not going to embarrass myself a second time with this girl. So I decided not to do anything. We just talked for so long, actually, that the car got hot, and we stepped outside, and it was just literally as hot because in Arizona, man, it's hot during the summer. So even when the sun's been down for hours, it was like, I think 92 degrees outside. So we talked until about what 12:45 at night. Yeah, almost 1 in the morning. But to wrap this story up, here are the lessons that I learned from this. You can never date a girl who is still attached to her ex. You just can't do it. It never works out. And this was reinforced with the next girl that I met, because the previous girl that I mentioned, who works at the Olive Garden, the Spirit Halloween, and we went on the date, we called each other, and she was like, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. She called it off, right? Completely devastated. I was in a rough place for a couple days. But the day after she said that, I think was the first day of college, and I met another girl, and we kind of had the same chemistry a little bit. We could just talk for hours. We met after class in like a little cafeteria room. She was sitting across from me, just kind of like looking at the chess game that was happening, the table behind me. And I thought, this girl's kind of cute. I've never been to college. It's my first semester. So let's talk to her and kind of see if she has any advice or whatnot. So I approach, I talk, we introduce, and long story short, we talked for about 4 hours, dude. She didn't have a next class until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we talked that a whole entire way. We toured the campus together. We went around and just like walked and talked. We went to the library. We went to the learning center. I mean, we did everything, right? And I really liked this girl's sense of humor, and I really liked how good our banter was, and just how comfortable we were with each other. And we opened up about some pretty like deep secrets towards the end, and secrets that she's never told anyone, and I've never told anyone as well. And at the very end, she's like, hey, let me grab your number. Let's hang out after school, right? So we do that. We go out. We get some yogurt. And in my mind and in her mind, we discuss this. We're like, this isn't a date. We just want to hang out after school, right? Just to get like to know each other more and just to hang out because we enjoyed our first conversation so much. But as the night progressed, it turned into a date, which I really didn't expect. We walked, we talked. I was actually talking about my previous situationship with this girl, and she opened up about her previous boyfriend, and they just broke up about I'd say 3 months ago, and she was with him for 2 years, man. High school sweethearts. They met in junior year of high school, and they moved in together after high school, and it was actually so serious that they were really thinking about the future, like seriously, like, am I gonna marry this woman or marry this man? And he had to call it off because, well, I don't want to get too much into why they called it off, but they called it off and 3 months passed, and that's when she met me. So she gave me really obvious hints that she wanted more out of this night as it progressed. And she said to me, I would kiss you, but I don't have the balls to. And there's no way you can take that in any other sort of fashion, right? It's just really clear cut and dry. Like, I want this. I want you type of thing. So we walk. The sun is starting to set. The sunset is this golden yellow, right? The storm clouds above us, starting to drizzle a little bit. And I mentioned The Notebook, the movie. And we walked to this like empty parking lot towards the road, completely isolated from everything else. And she looked at me and she said, "Are you just waiting for a perfect moment to recreate The Notebook?" And I said, "Possibly." And then that's when I leaned in and gave her a kiss. That was actually, little side note, that was my first kiss. My first kiss was actually at 19 years old. But it went well. We kissed again. We held hands. We walked. And then that's when she pretty much was like, I don't feel it. I don't think we can be boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm not ready yet, blah, blah, blah. And that's how the night ended. We met afterwards, I think maybe a couple days after, in person at Pima to discuss about where this is going to go. She still wanted to be friends, which was fine. I also wanted to be friends, but I didn't realistically see myself being friends, just friends, with this woman, because in my eyes, we crossed the boundary as soon as we kissed, right? It's pretty hard to go back to just being friends and kind of forget about what just happened after something like that transpires. And I told her straight up, I'm like, I don't think I can just be friends with you. I think the more that I know you, the more that I'm going to like you more, and it's just going to be harder and harder for me to not try anything physical. She understood that, and we kind of distanced ourselves. It's tough, man. It really is tough, because you would like things to work out. You like this girl, but both parties need to be healed, completely healed from their previous relationship or situationship or whatever that might be, before you guys fully move on and accept and really flourish and thrive in a healthy relationship. And I actually wrote a little entry in my journal about this, and I kind of want to read this and kind of end the video here because it's getting a little long. But I said, if I were to reflect back on what I learned this past week, it's the fact that keeping any relationship healthy and strong is hard work. It gets harder when feelings get in the way or start to change. But the most important thing to remember is the current you made that decision. Did it at the time because he thought it was the best thing for you. It doesn't matter if he was right or wrong. It just matters that it happened. And it's important to accept that and move on, because so many people like to dwell on the past, like myself, and get caught up in things that you cannot change. Time passes, it always does, but are you going to move along with it, or are you always going to be looking behind your shoulder, wondering all the what ifs in the world? Or are you going to use that time to properly heal from your wounds? Facing and treating your wounds is hard and painful, but you can't run away from yourself. And eventually, you will find yourself looking up to the horizon that is the future. And when life starts throwing stuff your way, you gotta ask yourself, am I making the right choice or the easy one? So that is what happened the past couple weeks. And I just wanted to make a video today just kind of explaining what happened and the lessons that I've learned. Hopefully you found something interesting or helpful in this video. Leave a comment. I'm actually really curious if anyone is listening this far into the video, if they had a previous relationship like this or situationship like this, and how you guys kind of overcame that, or what you did, or maybe just some advice if you're going through something similar. So leave a comment, and I'll catch you boys in the next video. Have a good one.
Double kill. Gain the lead.